at the loop.
What's up? Welcome back to GGTV. Hello, hello. That was a different intro. Today is a very, I say they're impromptu a lot, but this is a very impromptu video. I've literally just had a call about half an hour ago reporting an issue with one of my cars in storage, namely my 912. Most of you will be aware that I have a 1966 912 in my collection, Porsche 912, and it is in a different type of storage unit. It is in a place called the Classic Car Company, and whereby they run it up to temperature every now and again and kind of take a little bit more pastoral care over the thing. They've run it up today to temperature and it has dumped fuel all over the floor, which I'm not a mechanic, but I don't think that's a good sign, and they don't think it's a good sign either. So they have called me and said, Tom, your car's a mess. We knew it was a mess anyway, but it's even more of a mess than we already thought. It's just dumped fuel all over our storage unit. What do you want to do about it? And do you want to come and take a look? So I said, yes, I'm going to come and have a look. Come and see the literal damage, and put together a plan as to what I want to do with it. By way of background then, I've had the car probably about a year, maybe 18 months now. I've spent maybe 10, 15 grand on it already, structurally redoing it all. I've had Coney shocks put in it, and it's had a lot of time spent and a lot of money spent on it already. It's structurally sound. The engine is relatively sound actually, the kind of the running gear and all that kind of stuff. It is actually pretty good. It is quite strong. There are a number of oil leaks around the engine, not catastrophic ones, but it's not tidy, but it is quite strong and it's running good. However, this latest development is a little bit of a concern because I had factored in an engine rebuild at some point, and a proper kind of going over of all the running gear at some point, kind of 2021, when I've got a bit more money together. But this is kind of, I guess, forced the issue now. So we're on our way there now. We'll go and see what's needed. David there is a little bit of an expert, to be fair, in all things, well, Beetle, to be honest, which is what the engine predominantly is. So we're going to get his advice on it, and we're going to put together a plan of action and see what we want to do. And we're going to go through the costs associated with potential rebuild and remedial works to the 912. So it's going to be an expensive trip. It's probably going to be a depressing trip, and I'm going to go through some other bits as well that I've got planned for the 912. So I may as well get those done at the same time. There's no point putting it in for some fairly heavy work and not getting some other bits sorted at the same time. So I'm going to run you through those plans as well. So, without further waffle then, let's get on with the video and let's get into the storage unit and let's get grubby with my snotty little 912. Rightio, here we are, we've arrived at the Classic Car Company. This is the storage unit for one of my cars. Actually, the Defender is with these guys over in their other unit, but more on that another time. Very boring story. My Vogue is here. There is a wheel update coming actually, very soon. I need to pump up the tyres as well. But there's a wheel update coming with the Vogue very soon, and I'm also going to be doing privacy glass at long last on this. However, we are here to see my 912. I haven't actually seen this thing in a long time. It's actually really good to see it. I've genuinely not seen it in months, since probably before the first lockdown actually. Many of you will remember the premises that I'm in. This is the Classic Car Company. I had my BMW M3 fully kind of restoed in here actually. They did all the paintwork, amazing job, and I'm probably going to bring the SLS in here, and they're going to do some paintwork stuff here as well. So it's not just storage, they've got a whole kind of range of services they offer here. You basically, it's a one-stop shop. You bring them something, they'll look after it, they'll store it, and they'll also kind of bring it up to new and get any jobs you need doing it to the car done. However, my 912 is here, and part of the service is they don't just store it with a cover on it on trickle charge, but they also run it up to temperature, as I was saying at the beginning of the video. And this particular time, David here ran it up to temperature, and he noticed it had dropped some fuel on the floor. So we're going to go around it, and we're going to explain the various options available to me. We've had a bit of a clear up down here underneath, because it's not that safe leaving fuel on the floor, but various little puddles under the floor here. So here we go at the back. So a brief recap then for those unfamiliar with my 912. It's structurally been done underneath. It's had new floor pans at considerable expense, but the paintwork has been left relatively standard. There was a hole in the bodywork here, a very noticeable hole that I had done and kind of filled and de-rusted and sprayed. De-rusted is not probably the technical phrase for it, but there are little kind of bubbles of rust here and there. There's a couple little, where is it? A couple little bubbles here. I don't know if you can pick those up. It's not perfect, but it is, 1966 original paint with original kind of patina on it. I was speaking to David earlier and I said, you know, when I buy a vintage watch, I want it original. I want it with patina on it. I don't want it messed around with. So I'm happy with it scruffy. However, what I'm not happy with is it not being a strong runner and leaks, particularly fuel leaks. And they are not happy with fuel leaks either. Let's have a little look inside, see if it's... There we go. So inside then, it's a fairly sparse story. There is going to be some retrimming stuff done. They do retrimming here actually. But as most of you are aware that have followed the journey on this car, there's quite a lot that needs doing. These are the seats. The seats are okay. I might get the centre sections redone, but that is a new addition to the car since last time we looked at it. I put a little Beechwood gear knob on there as well, which matches my Carrera GT, which I very much enjoy. It is a left-hand drive, being an Italian car originally. But we're not doing anything with the interior today. We are here to talk about the engine. Let's see if it's open. No, it's not. Flap open then. Let's have a little look at the engine. I've even got a little tool here as well to show you what's going on. So, this is the engine bay, and there was a problem with the fuel. So there's a leak with the fuel. So the fuel pipe is this one here, going down into the engine. There's crap absolutely everywhere. But even that fuel line there is looking a little perished. I think that's the fuel regulator, this thing here. And we had fuel leaking out right at the bottom down here. Not a huge leak. I think I overstated it a little bit on the phone. It was a little bit more dramatic than I think it needed to be. However, it is leaking fuel, so it's not good enough. Overall, though, they are relatively happy with how it runs. They say it's not a huge issue. There are kind of the carbs and whatnot. There are kind of little oil leaks here, there, and everywhere. All things that I do want to get sorted out. So I've got a number of options with this car. A lot of people with these cars, they actually bore them out to be 1.7s, 1.9s. I think you can even get up to a 2.1 in these cars. However, I bought this car completely original and matching. So it's original paint, original engine, matching numbers. The engine matches the chassis. Cheers. Let that be a warning to you if you ever work on this car. Keep your wits about you. So as I was saying, I bought this car completely original, and I could have bought another car out there that had a non-matching engine to the chassis. I am going to keep this car completely original. I think what the best bet for me to do is get this stripped down and kind of resealed and, oh, for God's sake. Right, third time lucky. This car actually, this pointed out by David here, this is an optional extra from Stuttgart. You can have it in this really nice original teak or pine finish here. You can also get it in Irish green. I am of course lying, and that is really bad chat. However, we have got the engine here again. I even forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, that was it. I was saying I'm going to keep this engine probably original, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it, the guys here are going to sort it out. I'm going to get it completely stripped, resealed, and put back together, and obviously steam cleaned, so there's no kind of residual nonsense in there, and just get everything completely back to as it should be. I'm going to get this car as original as possible with original patina and a nice strong engine. I think that's probably the best way forward for this particular car. As I say, had it been non-matching engine and non-matching chassis, I would probably bore it up to a 1.7 or 2 litre or whatever it is, with a chap called Andy Prill, who is seen as kind of the oracle on all these things. But I think in terms of costing as well, stripping it down and getting it nice and clean is probably going to run me to maybe £5 odd, as opposed to, boring it up with Andy Prill, which will cost probably, I'd imagine, maybe 10 plus, something like that. So I'm trying to be sensible with the cost, and also going to try and keep it true to its, true to the car that I wanted it to be when I first bought it. I must admit, I did completely mess up buying this car. David has pointed out on a number of occasions that I didn't exactly buy the best car, and that maybe I should consider, chopping it and getting something else. But I said, I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to stick to my terrible decisions. I'm going to commit to my poor buying and get this thing sorted and do it justice. So that's exactly what I'm planning to do. I don't know whether you all agree on that approach. Maybe you think I should have just got rid of it. I really do want to hear what you think in the comments. I may well abuse you if I don't agree with you, as I tend to do sometimes, particularly when I'm hungry. However, I am interested in your thoughts. We're going to do some paint correction here on this as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this comes up once we've paint corrected it. I'd imagine the green will be a little bit nicer and a little bit darker, and it won't be quite so milky. We'll also put some nice wax on top of it. We're not going to ceramic coat it. I think it's got kind of lead-based paint, and you know, paint from the 60s. I'm at pains not to probably put ceramic coating on it. I just don't think there's any point. There's stone chips all over it. There's rust bubbles all over it. I mean, ceramic coating really isn't very useful. Again, PPF wouldn't be very useful either. So yes, that is the plan as it stands. And interior wise, I do want your opinion on what I should do. I've got my handy torch now, that's a lot better. I do want your thoughts on what I should do. I quite like that aluminium strip in the middle. I do need a 912 badge there, it's missing one. You can pretty much see the outline. But what I want to do is probably some houndstooth stuff on the seat inserts, and obviously some retrimming up the top there. I'm going to leave the Porsche Club Italia badge on there, which is a part of its history. But other than that, I'm going to probably just tartan it a little bit. In the back here is a bit of a dive. I think those two seats actually look original, so I'll probably keep it with its original black leather colour scheme. I won't go tan inside, contrary to what many of you want me to do. And the door cards as well, they're in absolute state. As you can see, those are original as well, which was black leather with the car. I'm going to obviously keep it Irish green on black. That's true to what the car was originally. In 1965, I believe it was built, and 1966 when it was sold. And we'll get all the seals and stuff trimmed up. I will keep as much original as possible. However, some of this stuff is a little bit manky and it stinks. Other cosmetic bits on the outside, I am missing a centre cap from that wheel. But I've actually got centre caps all the way around otherwise. So yeah, that's probably just an eBay job. Other than that, I think that's it. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. For now though, and my 912, we're not going to fire her up because she's dropped some fuel and I'm not really sure whether that's very good for it. We're going to get, the next time you see this car, we'll be with the engine out and we're going to be covering some of the work that's going on with this. So do stay tuned. Hopefully you're interested in this side of my garage. I am really, really interested in it. I know it doesn't really do the huge views. I'd be better off kind of going and showing the latest car and ordering the latest modern car. But I'm fascinated by this thing and I'm just kind of committed now to seeing what I can do with it and bringing it back up to a kind of a shadow of its former glory at the very least. So thank you very much for watching. Huge thanks to the guys here at the Classic Car Company. They have not paid me to do this, by the way. I pay for my stuff here. This isn't a scrounge. I genuinely use these guys and I genuinely do rate them. So, goodness me, this camera's terrible. So before any of you think this is one long ad, for once, it isn't. Do stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Festive greetings as well, wherever you are in the world. Whatever it is you celebrate, festive greetings to you. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye now.